What's up, guys? This is Alexander. So, subject of the night, since this just came up on Twitter, and I realize a lot of people are really into this. Carbs, oh, my hair's all freaking frizzed out right now. Carbs don't make you fat. So, this is ironically controversial for a lot of people to hear, since they have been led to believe that carbohydrates are apparently Satan's macronutrient, and if you eat carbohydrate anything, you will turn fat, and carbs become fat, and carbs are bad, and a whole bunch of other bullshit. So this is all factually wrong. Essentially, everything you probably digest in popular media regarding carbohydrate intake is 100% this dog shit. It's not true. Why is it not true? Let's discuss that. Why are carbs not bad for you? And bad being in quotes. Your body ingests carbohydrates, which are essentially just forms of sugar. It ingests fat, which dietary fat, it's a fatty acid molecule. Then it digests protein, which is amino acids. The human body does not metabolize carbohydrates, which are a form of sugar, into stored body fat very well. And when I mean metabolize, I mean that if you eat a bowl of rice, it is extremely fucking difficult for your physiology to convert that into stored body fat. Even if you are in an energy excess, which means you are overeating, it is hard as hell. The human body does not like to convert carbohydrates into stored body fat. It is not an energy efficient process. The body does like to store dietary fat as body fat because that's very simple. You have a fatty acid molecule, and then you go store it with the other fatty acid molecules. That's it. That's easy to do. Now, carbohydrates then, well, how do carbs make you fat then? Carbohydrates can cause an insulin response, which can cause your body to store more dietary fat that you are eating, if you are eating in excess. But carbs, of and in themselves, they don't get turned into body fat really at all. They just don't. Very minimally do they get turned into body fat. It's extremely energy inefficient, as I said. Physiology, whether it be a human being or a river or thermodynamics, energy does not like inefficiency. Nature does not like inefficiency. Biology does not like inefficiency. Carbs are inefficient to store as body fat. That is not me saying what I think how things work. That is basic biochemistry. That is basic thermodynamics. That is physics. This is the cold hard science. That's how this shit fucking works in the universe. The universe does not like energy inefficiency. It likes efficiency because that means you can create more things that are more complex. Anyway, getting back to carbs not being bad. Yeah, carbohydrates are not bad. What is bad is when you excessively overeat and then carb intake is high, which means usually fat intake is high too, and protein is wherever. And guess what? If you eat an excess of energy overall, then that dietary fat that you are eating within that energy surplus, that is what is getting stored as body fat. It is not really the carbohydrates. So you could be overeating, let's say, by 500 calories a day, all in carbs. Are the carbs being stored as energy? Nope. They are being used for energy. They are being burned. What's getting stored then? The fat that you're eating. It is extremely, extremely easy for the body to store dietary fat because, like I said, biochemically, it is incredibly efficient. You eat it, you ingest it, it can go right to your fat stores. Carbohydrates, there's about 50,000 freaking steps that have to happen for that to happen. There's a study that came out recently. I really quote studies, but the study was interesting. Study had a group of volunteers that they overfed, this team of scientists, they overfed these people by 1,000 calories a day of just carbohydrates. They were literally stuffing bagels down these motherfuckers' faces. They were forcing them to overeat carbs. You know what happened? For the first 5 days, they hardly gained any actual body fat because their body just kept burning carbs. Their energy expenditure actually went up like 30%. So the more carbs they ate, the more energy they burned. They just kept getting more energetic, believe it or not, because carbs are a phenomenal fuel source for the body. Your body likes to run carbs because carbs are easy to metabolize for energy. Finally, after so many days passed, when they were essentially having them overeat by something around 1,800 calories. So I mean, this is the equivalent of me taking one of you guys and basically force feeding you like 3 bags of bagels a day, trying to get you to gain weight. Only then, when they were literally making these research subjects sick from eating, did they start to store carbs as body fat. So unless you are fucking baselining bagels and eating one every 10 minutes, no, the carbs you're eating, they're not getting stored as body fat. If you have short-term fluctuations in weight from eating carbs, it's because you're probably eating consistently. Carbohydrates do cause some water retention, which is normal and you want to have happen. And carbs also can fill out your lean body mass. Your muscles use carbohydrates for energy. They store it as a sugar called glucose. Carbs are good for muscles. That's why women will freak out. I hate carbs and I gained weight. You didn't gain weight, you just retained some water. You probably filled out your ass a little bit too, which is not a bad thing. Anyway, hopefully that gives you a better understanding of food science, and you can see why popular mythology in the media or stuff you read, unless you know biochemistry, unless you know this kind of stuff, I can make anyone can be led to believe anything because they just don't know, and if I use enough scientific sounding fucking words and pseudoscience jargon, you will believe everything I'm saying. Now, I promise you that everything I just said was true, and you can go look it up in a textbook if you want, but regardless, have a filter and be a little more intelligent. Yes, I do lift. That's a great question after 20 minutes of ranting. I do lift, yeah. So have a filter and don't believe everything that you read in the media, especially in regards to health and fitness. A lot of it's just made up. Good night and good luck, everyone.